spilling the tea on JayZ and his entanglement with Diddy, and she is moving on to some more concerning stuff. And that's the allegations that her parents Tina and Matthew Knowles sold Beyonce to JayZ at a very early age. But that's not all, because Solange is also claiming that her parents were so focused on Beyonce's career and her business marriage to JayZ that they completely neglected Solange. Not everyone knows this, but Solange wasn't always the refined lady you see today. Back in the day, she was a bit of a troublemaker, constantly finding herself in sticky situations. Turns out it wasn't just because she had a knack for mischief or enjoyed stirring up trouble. It was more about her parents putting all their focus and energy into Beyonce, who was clearly the favorite from a young age. They had Beyonce on the path to stardom, training her up, and all it was like Beyonce was his whole world, leaving Solange on the back burner. To be fair, they weren't exactly neglectful, but Solange had to jump through hoops to get some attention. It's no wonder she ended up in trouble so often. Matthew didn't handle the situation all that well, but thankfully their mom Tina was wise to it. She made some moves to help Solange adapt to the situation. Better, Tina revealed that she got Solange into therapy to help her deal with the pressure that came with being Beyonce's little sister. She said it was tough. She was 5 years younger than Beyonce, and Beyonce was the little superstar in our city. So I took them to counseling so that the counselor could help Beyonce be more sensitive to Solange, because she couldn't stand her for a minute when they were little. But it made Beyonce more sensitive to who her sister was and what Solange had to deal with. Because of her, Solange was fortunate to outgrow her troublesome phase largely thanks to her mom's support. Her dad, on the other hand, seemed more obsessed with making Beyonce a superstar, even if it meant overlooking Solange's needs. So it's no wonder that over the years, she has developed a relationship with her mom, but keeps her distance from her dad. As Solange matured, her relationship with her father also changed, though not for the better. By the time she hit high school, Destiny's Child, Beyonce's girl group, was already making waves in the music scene. Matthew was their manager, and he had this idea of roping Solange into the group. But Solange wasn't having it. She wanted to carve her own path rather than riding on her sister's coattails.
I always wanted Solange to be a member of Destiny's Child. She just never wanted to be one, and I always...
At first, it seemed like Matthew wanted to mold Solange into another Beyonce, which only worsened the pressure she felt from how everyone was comparing her to Beyonce, and how she felt like she constantly fell short. She talked about this in her song God-Given Name, where she asked for the comparisons to stop, saying, "I'm not becoming expectations, I'm not her and never will be, two girls gone in different directions, striving towards the same galaxy. Let my starlight shine on its own. No, I'm no sister, I'm just my God-given name." Living in Beyonce's shadow for so long naturally fueled Solange's desire to forge her own path. She eventually decided to do her thing in the industry as a singer like her big sister. But when she wanted to start her career, her parents didn't give her as much support as they did to Beyonce. Remember how Matthew threw his weight behind Beyonce in her early career, essentially sidelining Solange and leaving her feeling neglected? While that same level of support didn't extend to Solange when she embarked on her own musical journey, maybe he was too preoccupied with Beyonce and couldn't juggle another budding career. Maybe he doubted Solange's potential to make it big, or perhaps he resented her for refusing to join Destiny's Child. Whatever the reason, the fact remains that he didn't back her the way he did Beyonce. People believe that this is the reason that Solange's career is not as big as Beyonce's. Now, don't get me wrong, Solange is doing well for herself. She has a great career and has won multiple awards. But Beyonce's career is way bigger, and there are still people out there who only know Solange as Beyonce's sister, even though she is just as talented. Many people have said over the years that the only reason Beyonce is more successful is that her father put his all into her career. In fact, people have left comments about Solange being the more talented sister, saying stuff like, "Hot take, Solange better than Beyonce." I'm sorry, and I'm just going to go ahead and say it, but Solange is infinitely more talented than Beyonce. Yeah, at this point, I think we're starting to get a clearer picture of why she would hold a grudge. And let's not forget that this family tries to keep everything as private as possible. But when it comes to Matthew, he is always spilling major the tea about their family, and always revealing family issues that should have just been kept private. For example, do you remember the infamous elevator fight between Solange particularly embarrassing for Solange because she hates having her private affairs aired out in public? It's understandable why her relationship with her father isn't on solid ground. But to her credit, she did make efforts to mend their bond and improve things between them. She revealed in an interview that she had reached out to him saying to sort out my adolescent and young adult years. There was still so much I needed to know because our relationship was not always very good. It's still very much a work in progress. But I think I have a much clearer idea of the trauma that he experienced and how it felt like it was then generationally passed on to me, both kind of existing in the white spaces as an only, and how much that can really shape and mold your experience of the world, race, and identity. Matthew had a shot at redemption, but he lost it when news broke of his infidelity. We found out that he had been steadily cheating on Tina throughout their marriage. But things hit rock bottom in 2009 when it came to light that he'd fathered a child with a woman named Alexandra Wright. Tina was devastated and filed for divorce, but she eventually gave him another chance. Yet less than a year later, he repeated his betrayal by fing yet another child outside their marriage. Tina had had enough by then and filed for divorce once more. In a way, Beyonce and Solange divorced their dad, too. Figuratively speaking, they distanced themselves from him, especially Solange. She had been in the process of reconciling with him, but his actions deeply wounded her mom. And that was the breaking point. But it wasn't just this singular event that caused her to cut ties, it was years of pent-up resentment that finally erupted. Years have passed since then. But Solange still holds on to her grudges. She barely acknowledges her father, and some broken things can't be fully repaired. It seems like Solange is determined to safeguard her peace, maintain her distance from Matthew, and hold on to her grudge indefinitely. This brings us to her recent revelations about how Matthew sold Beyonce to JayZ, because she is now revealing that the reason Matthew was so invested in Beyonce's life was that he was allegedly grooming her for success from a young age. According to Solange, this included allegedly picking out a husband for Beyonce and allegedly selling Beyonce out to the man who turned out to be JayZ. She also claims that even though Tina was allegedly aware of it, she did nothing to stop it, and even supported it. Allegedly, from the way Solange put it, whole Beyonce may reign supreme as the queen of the beehive. She does not hold the same influence or power in her own household because she has allegedly been under JayZ's thumb all along because she was sold to him by her parents. Their relationship has always been a topic of speculation due to its weird dynamics. Multiple people have spoken